Hi, my name is Antonio Myers. I am tell me pronounce your
Oh
first
yeah.
name. Suya Whittington's guest. Um, I am autistic and I am proud of it.
I like that. I like that. You're proud of it. And welcome to Stamp Love. Let's talk about it podcast. And I am interested in hearing your story. So tell me all about your story and your journey into accepting your autism and living with it.
I was diagnosed with pervasive developmental disorder at the age of 2, and many people who are adults, the DC public schools experts, and I put it in quotations because what I'm about to tell you will make you question their expertise, and wisely so. They thought I would be lifeless, a vegetative state, vegetable, unsuccessful and unproductive, and that I wouldn't be able to talk, and that I couldn't form healthy social relationships because I was obeying my parents by not talking to strangers, and they had an issue with that. And so there was a lawsuit filed by my mother with actual experts who cared for me and about me, because DC Public Schools had this ADA obsession, American Disability Act, where they could provide an appropriate public education, which is not true. They were saying that because they didn't feel like paying the private school tuition for my special education. They lost the court case and they had to pay my special education for 14 years until I graduated high school. My very first words were, "Stop bullying my friend." My very first words were about other people, activism, and compassionate love, which is immeasurably remarkable. Thank you for smiling. I appreciate it. And I was 3 when I first said my first words, and then at 4 I started talking. From about birth to 4, they kept hounding me, talk, say something, talk to strangers. It wasn't my timetable to do those things. We all have a diverse timetable. And they wanted me to come out of the womb a college professor, which it doesn't happen that way. There's a reason why people say goo goo gaga. Mama dada for a reason, people. You
Right.
know, excellence takes time. It's not something that right away you're a verbal master. No, you vocabulary builds,
Right.
builds up. And so that's what occurred to me.
I love the fact that your first words were advocacy. Like you were advocating for someone. Like I'm going to stand up for the rights of others, even though they think I can't speak. That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you. I'm
So,
having
say
I'm
again.
having fun. That's why I'm smiling and kind of grooving, dancing a little bit. But go ahead.
So, tell me more about your fight for advocacy and your development. So, did you continue to be that person?
Yes, I'm slowly moving in a legislative route. I had to take care of my mental health needs, past childhood traumas, therapy I received for it. I'm a part of the National Down Syndrome Society. I do their business calls. I am part of, talking about the needs of people with disabilities, and I'm on their coffee chat where we talk amongst friends. So I just got a board membership to be a part of William is Artistic, led by Janelle Brown. It's a board that helps people with special needs, and I'm on Clubhouse app where I host a club called Neurodiversity every day, Monday through Friday. I mean, 5 o'clock p.m. East Coast time, and Saturday, Sunday at 2 o'clock East Coast time. So what I'm doing is educating people, enlightening people, and I think the best way to not depend on legislation so much, does have its place. Changing hearts. You got to change hearts first. If you can soften hearts, everything else will care for themselves. So that's what I'm doing, softening hearts and changing them. Because I
Right.
think that's
So
the biggest advocacy goal.
right. So you're putting a humane twist on a diagnosis. So that's stamping out the stigma. When you remove the stigma, then the healing can begin. And that is a beautiful thing. And coming from somebody who is diagnosed as autistic and letting people build that connection and that rapport with you, that is a great thing to do because it makes it more humane, it makes it more understandable, and especially with your ability to express yourself, like you give people the autistic kids that don't have a voice, you give them a voice. So
Right,
that's great.
right. Because I think that my presence is therapeutic to people, knowing that, wow, this person's not an idiot. And this person is not um, of any kind of malice, or this person is not a monstrosity at all. This person is not any of the stereotypes that foolish society espouses upon. So yeah, I thank you for your sentiments.
Right. So with your parents and you doing this work, how are they? Are they supporting it or are they afraid for you? What are their thoughts? Do you know?
Very supportive, extremely supportive.
That's great. That is awesome. It's nice to see it come around, especially when you see you see kids that they, even if they become vocal, they don't become that vocal where they'll actually stand in front of somebody and tell their story or, like talk to crowds and people, like a mass amount of people. Like that is a beautiful thing within yourself. And tell me more about what you got going on because you are doing amazing things and I'm loving it.
Well, thank you, Sweetie, for your support, full support. And what I'm doing now is starting my writing career. There's an author within me. We all know there's an orator within me, but there's an author within me. And I'm podcast hosting. That's why we're friends, right, Sweetie?
Yes. Yes.
See, see, I know you because we're podcasters, and I was the first to have you on my show, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
And what I podcast, it's for grown folks only, because I have a edgy cranium. I talk about things that most people would go, you're not supposed to share that. Be quiet. I go, no, I'm going to do it. This is important. We're all thinking this. Let's just scream it. This unhealthy privacy, I can't take it. And so, yeah, she's in love with this. So, and I just, it has explicit content because truth is explicit. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
think truth is clean and sparkly, sugar rainbows. No, no. Sometimes truth is a gut punch, and sometimes Truth will have you in tears. Truth will have you
Mm-hmm.
to punch holes in walls. Truth will make it hard for you to maintain self control. That is
Mm-hmm.
how startling honesty can be.
It can. You are so right. And I'm talking about doing an event called Her Story. And that's exactly what it's about, the gut wrenching truth. I'm just speaking your truth and telling your story through your truth. That was awesome.
Thank you. And I know your podcast, when you tell the truth, there are times where you shake up the boat and rock it till it flips the completely over.
Right. Right.
Because
Right.
truth is earthquaking too.
It is. And when you're talking about truth in mental health, like people don't have honest conversations about today I'm struggling. Today I am really struggling with my mood and my mental health. Please help me. Like those conversations could do so many things for the world and we don't have them or we don't really talk. We'll talk about self-care, but we'll talk about the pretty side of self-care, right? So we talk about the facials and the massage and all those things, but we don't talk the fact that self-care is actually sometimes it's getting up out the bed and going to the gym even on days you don't want to. You know what I mean? That is really self-care, and you need to do it daily. You need to daily take care of yourself and daily have a relationship with yourself. And those are the conversations that we need to have.
Yes, because they're so big on, well, you gotta smile all the time and tap dance all the time. And everybody gets along with everybody and everything. That pisses me off
Right,
because you're
because
denying my full.
my
You're
full
denying my. Go
right,
ahead. Go ahead.
you're denying my full experience.
You,
Right. Right. You're denying my
thank
full
you.
experience, my
We're
whole journey is because we can agree to disagree and we can respect others' opinions. And you have to give me your opinion to be able to make it happen. I love it.
yes. Like it's. Wait a minute. I was trying to ask you, sir. Is this an explicit? Is this show where you keep it clean or you just don't?
We try to keep it clean as possible, but life is what
Uh,
it is.
okay. Just checking. But yes, it's just it's very that toxic positivity I never understood. I like the actual one where I learn and grow in the midst of pain. To me, that's positivity at its best. When when they when they make you feel bad because you don't like somebody, but they're a jerk, right? Why would you want to get along with a jerk? You would have to be a jerk for that other jerk to like you. And I don't want to do that. Why do I have to work so hard to get along with impossible people? That is unnecessary and that kind of exhaustion I don't need. And so, see, we get along, Suya, because we're decent people. You have to be decent for other decent people to think highly of you. And thank you. Thank yes. And so my full story, I want to share more. I'm a sixth grade cashier selling root beer floats. Sixth grade winner of the Cursive Crown, layman's terms, a elegant award for writing and reading in cursive. Seventh grade secretary. Eighth grade president. Obama signed all of my academic honors. I remember being able to go to Hershey Park. I was a superstar in my prom. Everybody's amazed at my dance skills. I was nicknamed Carlton Banks in high school because I dressed preppy. People say I look like Alfonso Ribeiro, and I dance quite well. I would dance in the hallways. I had fun. And they would call me Stefan or Kel because I was smooth with the ladies. Then they would call me Stephen Urkel because of my vocabulary, my high intellect. And remember that smart guy show? He's the smart guy. They called me that. They would sing that theme song to me every time they saw me. This is my adolescence, right? And they called me Mandark and Dexter from Dexter's Lab and Jimmy Neutron.
So how did that feel? Was that a good thing or a bad thing? Because it depends on your interpretation of it all.
Um, it's one of the reasons why I continue to have a high intellect, and it helped. One of the reasons why my grades stayed high and up. So it's all good.
That's good. That's good. Because when it comes to people calling you names in middle school, they can get ugly. They can definitely get ugly.
Right, and let me see here. I could type 50 words per minute in middle school, and I could also read at a seventh grade at a 12th grade reading level in seventh grade. So I was up there with high school seniors in terms of book smarts.
So
All
you
right, I would do.
you
Thank
went
you.
from not being able to talk and them thinking you were going to be a vegetable to in the seventh grade reading in the 12th grade level. Look at God. That's what you got to say there. Can't you
Yes, I love your face.
listen? That's major. It is. It is. And I mean, for somebody who sat down with kids that literally, like, okay, so there, I've had kids that literally couldn't talk and went from not talking 6 months later, they're reading, right? Because it's in there, they're just not bringing it out, right? That
Right.
has a lot to do with your rapport and your connection to them, right? But to see that, but you just see that little snippet of it, right? You don't get to see the whole journey.
This is
And I'm
true.
right, and this is part of the whole journey. Like it gives you so much hope. It gives you so much hope, especially when you have days where it's some days are like you're working with kids and it's like I don't know if what I'm doing is working. You know what I mean? And every teacher, every practitioner has felt that way. So to see you at the end or for you to hear that you're talking about it at the end, regardless of whether whether it seems like they were right or they were wrong about what they were saying about you, it still gives you a lot of hope.
Right. And if they were to see me on a podcast, their jaw would drop. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, wait a minute, you're getting along with Sweet, but we thought you couldn't, but y'all are having fun. Ah!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And it's good to see that you communicate well. You have interpersonal skills.
Thank
You
you.
manage a
Thank you.
podcast. You manage a business.
I do.
Yes. They said was going to be a vegetable. That gives every parent hope. Every parent that is in the beginning of this and they're trying to get through it, it gives them hope. I'm putting
Right.
like
The
sweet.
person.
Your face is like sweet. You're putting too much on me. Like, don't give me all this credit.
No, no, no. I like the credit. When I'm happy, I make a lot of funny faces. That's all. I'm just in my grief. So no, keep going. He prays. It's all good.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to be able to see it at the end and see it all work out. You give
Thank
parents
you.
hope.
Right, the person they thought would be without communication. Let's see, podcasting, communication, writing, communication, advocacy, communication. And I'm a high school valedictorian. I'm a college graduate, world traveler, designated disability services provider. And I did my first graduation speech 14, ninth grade, 23, fresh out of college, twice. All before the age of 30, I'm still 27.
I love it. I love it. So you are definitely somebody who's overcame the odds.
Yes,
Definitely.
I did. Then I just obliterated all the competition that was trying to battle me down. I
Right.
destroyed it. No trace of it them left.
I love it. You are awesome. Do you have anything else? Actually, I want to know more about your advocacy work with legislative policies. What are your plans there?
Well, I'm gonna start in the humble beginnings of it. I've been planning on what to say, so I'm writing it in my head. But I think what I'm gonna do is just introduce myself. Start with a small group and then see how it goes. Because my goal is not to be an attention seeker. My goal is not to be a person who screams but does nothing. My goal is to share a compelling story that touches people's hearts. So I can touch the hearts of I can touch the hearts of parents, and I can touch the hearts of those in any position that's want to listen, that can help. Cause when people think of advocacy, a lot of people think that you're rude or you are just some vulgar person who is heartless and capitalizing people's pain. That's not my goal. Um, Basically, my goal is to see what can be the best way for marginalized people like myself to just live. And I do it with a pure heart, and I do it with clean intentions. Not trying to make it
Yes, I
super
feel like that's important.
right. Not try to make it like trying to get everybody's attention, but I believe in starting small and step by step, little by little, doing my part instead of trying to do it all and hog it all. Just, baby steps. And not getting upset if they don't get every victory because the victory is at least they know how you feel
Right.
and that you're
Right.
communicating it lovingly too.
Okay. So it's more about partnerships than the fight against.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. I agree that that's needed because we need to stop being enemies and start being
Thank you.
partners with common goals or uncommon goals, regardless. Yeah.
Right.
You are great. You
Exactly.
are awesome.
Thank you.
We're about to wrap it up. It was
Okay.
nice speaking with you again. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 29th. And I will send you the information. Have a good night
And,
or day.
and